Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi on Sign Language, Dorothy Namyomba. Let's take a look at the top stories this evening. President Museveni commissions Cassava processing factory. Government of Uganda commits 7 billion shillings to women's football. While UPC nominates 2 candidates for the party presidency. And EU envoys reaffirm commitment to strengthen ties with Uganda. Hello once again. The government of Uganda has committed 7 billion shillings to the National Council of Sports to support the development of women's football. This was revealed by the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, as she received the new FUFA Women's Super League trophy.
Every decade, the Federation of Uganda Football Association, FUFA, unveils a new trophy for the Women's League this year. The new trophy has been on a tour in different parts of the country. In its final bend, the trophy was presented to the First Lady and Minister of Sports, Janet Museveni, as part of the campaign aimed at recognizing influential Ugandan women.
Our National Council of Sports value the virtues of gender balanced development, and if you look critically, even the support we give out, we dictate terms. From the funding we give to FUFA, we also tell them women must have a share. And I know, Mama, this information is always contained in our report.
It is a profession, a source of income, and a dignity for many. It has been prioritized at the National Council, and we are receiving great help from them. Our women athletes now enjoy continental exposure. They are flying the flag high and competing to the highest levels. At one time, Mama, all we had in the camps were only women, and we didn't have any men in the camps.
During the presentation, the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports highlighted the significant additional 7 billion funding from government dedicated to promoting women football.
It is also gratifying now, on behalf of the government, to see that women's football has transformed over the years into a defined sport with clear structures and competitions that nurture young people's talent and the sense of fulfillment and self-esteem. On our part, as a government, we continue to support the participation of women in designated sports and ensure that the sports facilities we set up cater for both male and female sports as much as may be applicable. As a government, in the last 2 financial years, we have been allocated Uganda shillings 7 billion annually as an additional resource to FUFA for the promotion and development of women football in the country.
The First Lady applauded the female athletes for excelling in football, a traditionally male-dominated sport. She reaffirmed government's commitment to empowering the girl child across all sectors, particularly nurturing their talents and skills.
Let the promotion of women football be done in a manner that allows young girls and women to be girls and women, even when they are in a predominantly male-dominated sport. As you know, football is a male-dominated sport. Be mindful that they, the girls, are created differently, and so are their roles in society. Therefore, permit them to have a holistically fulfilling experience even as they develop their football talent.
This event marked the final stop of the FUFA Women's Super League Trophy Tour, a symbol of the girl child's resilience and rising prominence in competitive sports once dominated by men. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBS TV.
And President Yoweri Museveni has pledged that government will fast-track the implementation and actualization of Greater Luweero Development Master Plan in line with the uplifting of the region. President Museveni has made these remarks while addressing Greater Luweero Regional Wealth Creation Public Rally in Nakasongola District. The address marks the last day of the wealth creation visit in the region.
St. Mary's Primary School grounds in Wabinyonyi, Nakasongola District has hosted the Wealth Creation Public Rally of Greater Luweero Zone. Besides members of the cabinet, Kyoga Boat Owners and Fishmongers Association received the president. The public rally marks the third and final day of President Museveni's visit to Greater Luweero.
Fenga abantu be Nakasongola nga abantu ba Greater Luweero twagala okwebaza meeting gye wabadde naffe jjo
tukwendya kusawatinisya president n'okwegayira okw'amaanyi isene Nakasongola tufune hospital
tulaze bana batugamba president wa mwakaddiye simanya biki obalazeeko mukama wange bw'otandika okutambula bwe tuti ffe tuba tudduka misinde.
We welcome you to day 3 of your zonal tour on wealth creation to Greater Luweero.
Luweero Triangle Minister Isaac Kaboyo has been part of the presidential wealth creation trail since Tuesday this week.
So we are happy, and I want to urge all families in this region, in this sub-region, to make sure that they follow the message that the president is spreading. It is the only way we can get out of poverty.
President Museveni was accompanied by, among others, ministers including Muruli Mukasa, Baramba Lukahara, As Kaboyo, regional members of parliament and religious leaders.
Developing a country has got many things, and if you are not careful, you may touch here, touch there, and not have impact. That's why the NRM believes in concentrating. What I told the leaders yesterday were 6 words. The first one, peace and security.
Addressing the public gathering, Museveni reiterated that a peaceful country comes from a united nation.
Since the NRM came, we emphasize love Uganda, because Uganda is more important than the tribes. So therefore, you people here, you should continue supporting the NRM, because the NRM is the party which believes in unity. Now, once we have peace, then the next issue is development, enkuraakulana.
He re-echoes that although there is development of infrastructure, this doesn't entirely mean wealth has been assured.
Many people confuse the enkuraakulana. They talk about it a lot, the roads, the health centers, the schools, the electricity, and so on. So you can have development in an area, but you have poverty also near the development.
The head of state advised that if Uganda's vast and fertile land is properly utilized, unemployment will be a talk of the past.
And each acre created 15 jobs. We would have 105 million jobs. That is more than all the people of Uganda. We would have so many jobs that we would have to import workers. And this happened in the past year, because our people who came from other countries, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, to come here, they came because of this small economy.
Although Museveni says agriculture is the way to go, he acknowledges that industrialization will take Uganda far.
But these new factories which we have brought are already employing 1.2 million people. They are more than the ones of the government already 3 times. So you, the parents, you need to advise the children that please, the government jobs are limited. You prepare yourself to work in commercial farms or factories or hotels services, and so on.
He further commits on behalf of government of Uganda to pay more attention towards the uplift of Greater Luero area.
Yesterday there was the idea of affirmative action for the Luero Triangle area. That's a correct proposal, like we have done for the north. There is a Luero program, but it is small. We can expand it in the future.
To the fishmongers, Museveni guides that regulating the exercise is still valid.
So somebody to go into that lake must be licensed to go there, not just everybody to come.
The issue of Luero district headquarters has been handled, has been solved, and then the issue of a skilling hub specifically for Greater Luero has also been appreciated and given by the President.
We are in Greater Luero. From the farmers that His Excellency the President visited, from the testimonies of the recipient, all is seemingly well, with very, very few people who failed.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
And Uganda People's Congress Party, UPC, has nominated 2 candidates to vie for the party presidential position. The 2 candidates are the current party president, Jimmy Akena, and Dennis Dimenap. The party chairman electoral commission, Haji Mahmoud Kazimbirenes, has said the winner will have to attain at least 1/3 of all the district conferences in the whole country. He urged them to be positive in their campaigns so as to convince the nation that UPC is a party of ideas which will build the nation.
Okay, I'm advised, let me begin with this one. Mr. Enapo Adin Dennis, I take the honor to hand you the certificate as a duly nominated candidate for the President of the Uganda People's Congress. My team and I will commit to the tenets of the party constitution, and anything that veers off the constitution shall not be permissible under our watch. To that,
it will be an honor to carry the UPC flag in the general election. And the preparations which have been done so far, I think UPC is ready. I myself as a candidate, I'm ready for the task.
Allow me to congratulate the 2 candidates. Who managed to bring themselves up to the point of getting a nomination. I think we last presented a presidential candidate in 2011. But all this time, we've not been presenting them because we didn't just want to present anybody. We wanted to present a winning candidate. This is why today we have said these our candidates should travel the breadth and width of this country, so that they can get to be seen, get to be identified, and at the same time make UPC visible. We have won 50 districts to be able to go to wherever we shall go for our delegates conference and be voted for by the delegates conference. You go out there to campaign. Do not take your own image as paramount. Take the image of UPC. UPC has got a lot to show for its ability.
And the European Union ambassadors led by His Excellency Jan Sedek, head of the EU mission in Uganda, have voiced deep concern over the worsening human rights situation in the country, alongside what they describe as scathing verbal attacks allegedly made by the Chief of Defence Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. During a retreat held in Gulu, northern Uganda, aimed at evaluating the community-level impact of EU-funded initiatives, The envoy is also engaged in a high-level dialogue with General Cassava Kandwanaho, the Chief Coordinator of Operation Wealth Creation, where a range of pressing national issues were discussed.
Northern Uganda continues to stand as a major beneficiary of European Union funding, particularly aimed at improving livelihoods. The region, still healing from the scars of a brutal two-decade conflict fueled by the Lord's Resistance Army, remains a priority for the European Union, which is steadfast in its commitment to uplift communities from the shadows of war and despair.
All in all, of course, when we travel to a region like this, we want to understand how the EU's cooperation and partnership with that region has played out over the years, see the result of that, listen to the people of the region and understand when we are continuing our support here, our partnership, how shall we calibrate that? That's also an important aspect of why we are here. And we are
the EU delegation's extensive tour and engagement with the community members, local leaders and development partners are part of a broader efforts to drive a renaissance, fostering construction, rebirth and sustainable development in northern Uganda. In Gulu, the EU envoys also took part in a high-level dialogue with General Cassava Kandwanaho, the Chief Coordinator of Operation Wealth Creation. The discussions delved into a range of pressing national issues, including development, governance and security. It was during this interface that the EU ambassadors expressed serious concerns over the deteriorating human rights situation in Uganda and the growing misuse of social media by public officials. The delegation issued a firm caution, warning of grave consequences if such trends remain unaddressed.
What we have tried to convey is we are worried about the reputational damage that this is causing.
Why does it become the responsibility of the government in Germany or Britain or wherever to ask Uganda to leave its own ideals? You could perhaps be asking, does the German ambassador ask the US government to leave its own ideals?
Yes.
Every day, the America doesn't leave its own ideals.
Yes, we do.
Even if it is our struggle, we have no right to oppress our own people or to torture them. You understand? And say they're in the basement and you say they're learning which language? Totally unacceptable. Thirdly, when you become in that office, you are no longer yourself. That's the institution of the country. That's a pillar of the state. You must be careful how you conduct yourself.
General Salim Saleh, who chaired the dialogue, acknowledged the concerns and committed to pursuing an amicable resolution. After the intense discussions dubbed a crossfire by some, the general called for a ceasefire, emphasizing the importance of maintaining open, respectful dialogue moving forward.
We call a ceasefire, and then we sit down and talk about the situation here and there. My brother-in-law is a German, you know.
Yes, I know.
You know Hirma. Hirma is almost killing me. Your son, I said that's my friend. Your son is also your son. Get him and talk to him, but on his behalf, I can apologize, but I don't know what he will do tonight.
When we have something, that we are concerned about, we actually try to have a dialogue first. We don't go on to media with these things if we have concerns. And in a way, then we would appreciate the same attitude back from these Ugandan parties.
The EU provides substantial support to northern Uganda through programs focused on development, humanitarian aid and youth empowerment. This support includes financial aid, technical assistance and partnerships with various organizations. Dennis Ikowa for UBC News.
And President Yoweri Museveni has commissioned a cassava processing factory in Nakasongola. The factory produces starch for use in food, paper production, medicines, textiles, briquettes and packaging. During the commissioning, President Museveni commended the proprietor for not only adding value to cassava, but also making it a more attractive venture.
Somewhere deep in Nakasongola district along the Kampala-Gulu highway lies Pura Organic Agrotech, a cassava processing factory. President Museveni, during his Paris Development Model Tour in Greater Luweero, officially commissioned the factory.
I'm very happy to be here to open this factory.
The factory produces starch used in various sectors such as food, paper manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, textile, briquettes, and packaging. Museveni commended the investors of Indian origin for the efforts in adding value to Uganda's cassava and making it more valuable crop.
So you Africans, you are sitting on big wealth, but you are always asleep. Ekale bojonyo mwikalire kuvuguda bamani baitu buli kaseera mba mwebasirie mbe mungu mwebasirie So I want to thank Ramesh for.
He assured the investors of steady supply of raw materials, promising that Ugandans would support the initiative by growing more cassava. Museveni encouraged the investors to produce more starch locally to help reduce the cost of manufacture.
For that starch is very crucial for, I hope you are making pharmaceutical grade starch. Because that pharmaceutical grade starch is very crucial for making tablets. Starch oyo musamuno, starchi mukurumno, omukola amakerenda. Because what you take as a makerenda, as a tablet, is not all medicine. It is mainly starch.
Museveni pledged to resolve the challenges facing the factory, such as water supply, taxation, and bureaucratic delays by government officials. His pledge followed concerns raised by Ramesh Babu, the chairman of Pura factory.
5 liters of water to process 1 kg of starch. To address this need, we invested over 350 million in partnership with the Central Umbrella to lay a 10-kilometer pipeline from Bijira town to our factory. Unfortunately, this agreement remains unfulfilled, as the increasing demand for water in Mizira and surrounding villages has taken precedence, leaving our supply insufficient and unreliable.
Now, what is a shame is to hear that our people are delaying him. You hear what he was saying. First of all, I had told the people concerned to stop to put tax on imported starch from outside.
Minister for Investment Evelyn Anite applauded the investors for elevating the value of cassava and helping turn into one of Uganda's emerging cash crops.
We are going to be able to see more jobs creating here, and our God-given resource, which is cassava, that we saw that had zero value, is now going to get more value, and thanks to you for promoting value addition.
State Minister for Trade Wilson Mbadi noted that Pura Organic Agrotech's cassava processing initiative will help reduce importation of starch.
Establishing this cassava starch manufacturing industry marks a significant step towards self-sufficiency in starch production, and I am very confident that this factory and other factories established across the country will add value to cassava.
Minister for Public Service Muruli Mukasa said that many families are now earning a livelihood by supplying cassava to the factory.
Coming of this factory, then the fortunes of cassava are rising now. And indeed, many families are taking a very, or enjoying some reasonable livelihood and income.
The factory, which began operations 3 years ago, currently employs 130 people, while over 1,800 individuals earn income through cassava supply. Philip Aguta for UBC News in.
And the ruling National Resistance Movement NRM is currently undergoing a routine process of re-establishing its party structures from the grassroots to national level. While the election process could have had its share of challenges, the success of the exercise speaks volumes of a party evidently organized. Today we examine the NRM party goals, achievements and what the future holds, while also reflecting on the leadership of President Yoweri Museveni.
We conduct elections in this country.
What exactly is the ideological foundation of the National Resistance Movement?
The National Resistance Movement is a revolutionary party
that has shaped Uganda's political landscape since 1986.
Led by the original NRA.
What defines Museveni's enduring tolerance for political pluralism?
These values that we are preaching are based on learning from the mistakes of the past.
Through these streets, they entered Kampala. And on these stairs, their leader stepped. It meant a commitment towards building a new Uganda that citizens had missed for a long time.
In Africa, we have seen so much change that change has become meaningless. It's no longer change, but merely turmoil. This group getting rid of that group, and that group doing worse than the group it got rid of. Now, please, I do not count us in that category of people.
Nearly 4 decades later, the NRM's ideological path has seen a mixed but persistent journey. A journey that has been guided by core values, marked by milestones, and occasionally shaken by internal and external criticism.
When two people are working together on the same program and disagree, that's healthy. When they don't disagree, then there is something wrong. Disagreement is not the problem. It's the inability to overcome the contradictions.
From universal primary education to the health sector reforms, the NRM has overseen significant strides in development. The economy has grown from a mere $4 billion GDP in the 1980s to over $40 billion today. It is all thanks in part to robust policies and a stable macroeconomic environment.
We've also discovered oil and gas. This is now the new thought. We have got nearly 1,400 kilometers of a pipeline from Uganda to Tanga. 30% of it is in Uganda, approximately. Now, therefore, with this newfound oil, we can now tackle other areas of growth of the economy. And I think that with the mineral wealth that we have, Uganda now has got a potential to be self-sufficient in many fronts. My view, therefore, is that the strength of the national resistance movement has been anchored on what you call infrastructure number one, that's what I call it, which is peace, security, which has caused stability in the country.
The success of this has been partly because of President Museveni's leadership style. It is often described as strategic and tolerant, allowing critics and dissenting voices within and outside the NRM to flourish. This, they say, has contributed to a more pluralistic political environment.
President Museveni is a God-given leader to this country, and more so to the African continent and the world. There are those who may scorn him, but even Jesus, 2,025 years ago, was scorned. The Baganda have a saying, Basima Agenze.
Every time I see what the programs NRM government under Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has put in place, it should give confidence to Ugandans that now Uganda is in competent hands. We can achieve what we expected at the time of independence.
And if you recall, at the steps of Parliament in 1986, there was clarity in his statement and the vision he had for the country to say, this is not a mere change of guard. I think this is going to be a fundamental change.
As Uganda looks ahead, the NRM's roadmap remains focused on industrialization, digital transformation, regional integration, and sustainable wealth creation. With Vision 2040 and the Parish Development Model taking center stage, the NRM believes the best is yet to come.
The focus now is to grow this economy. We should not be satisfied with 6%. I think we need, in order for us to manifest and grow this economy, as we're getting closer to the middle income status, we need now to add value to what we produce.
What we want is for you to produce a product which we need here and which is needed maybe outside also.
Because industrialization is the future of the African continent.
The journey of the national resistance movement is far from over. With its ideology tested but not broken, and its leader both criticized and praised, the NRM continues to shape Uganda's destiny, one generation at a time. Henry Okrut, UBC.
With that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo de super mustairompia. Then you kabo de smartphone nebi yakabibiona. MTN kabo de super mustairompia. Then you kabo de smartphone nebi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest mpora in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Ganyiga star 278 then hash ujja kuba ng'oyingidde mu kazannyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu zino wano milioni 10.86 ebintu bino nasooka biraba ku TV nange saasooka kikiriza ninga mulaye kino kiyinza okuba nga kituufu oba yaddala si bya bufere sente zo nazifunye zo nazikoze ki naziwangudde amasanyu nina mangi ebyoto byange byembadde njagala ngenda bituukiriza.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory.
Are you a woman with a small-scale business with a dream of growing it to another level? The GROW Project is here to support you in realizing your dream.
The GROW Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
We support women-owned businesses across the country to gain hands-on and business management skills through training within your location, business financing through grants and affordable loans, and infrastructure in your areas of operation to enable you to increase your productivity.
If you have a business that makes sales of up to 800,000 Uganda shillings per month, the GROW Project has the tools and resources to help you succeed. For more information, contact your district or city GROW focal person or call our toll-free line on 0800 307 777 to learn more about how you can benefit from the GROW Project's services.
The GROW Project, empowering women economically, transforming communities.
Welcome back. Ministry of Agriculture in partnership with World Bank have launched the Uganda Climate Smart Agricultural Transformation Project designed to empower farmers with the resources and knowledge needed to adopt climate resilient agricultural practices to enhance their ability to withstand the impacts of climate change and improve food security. Mr. Stephen Tibeshuke, Commissioner Crop Protection at Ministry of Agriculture, highlighted that the initiatives under the project seeks to support smallholder farmers in adapting to the impacts of climate change, enhancing their productivity and resilience.
Uganda Climate Smart Agriculture Transformation Project is intended to boost commercial agriculture across the country without affecting climate.
Nga government bwe batugaidinga nti tuyina kubeera na priority commodities, tuyina kubeera na ziri emirimu gye tukola nga givaamu sente nga sijja kulya kokka, tugikole nga tugoberera n'amateeka agakwatagana n'ebyobutonde bw'ensi.
Aimed at transforming agriculture where farmers will have the increased marketable volumes to commercialize agriculture through improved provision of inputs, which majorly the farmers will access in groups, and that is matching grants, where farmers will be able to contribute to the group which they have registered, fully certified and profiled by the district.
According to Engineer Boniface Okanya, the project coordinator, the project initiatives that will include, among others, matching grants are to benefit farmer groups in 69 districts, including 7 refugee settlement camps, to support mechanism and promote climate-resilient agricultural practices.
The project is in the 69 districts. These are the first districts that we screened, because we are seeing it as a climate-smart agriculture. So there is a criteria that we submitted before the districts were chosen. And based on that, we ranked the poverty levels and the rest. Look at the issues of irrigation, support irrigation, post-harvest, value addition.
We are working with 13 value chains for this project, and they cut across all the subsectors with the agriculture sector. So we have value chains in the livestock subsector, we have value chains in the crop subsector, we have value chains in the fisheries subsector, as well as what we call the beneficial insects subsector.
Winnie Ainembabas Katwire for UBC.
And in Kawempe Division, residents of Cheva and Ochsalo and workers at Tirupati Industrial Park are appealing directly to President Yoweri Museveni to visit the area. They want him to witness how government-backed initiatives like Tirupati Industrial Park are transforming lives, creating jobs, and boosting the local economy.
Chisalusalo in Kawempe Division, along with workers at Tirupati Industrial Park, are calling on President Yoweri Museveni to visit the area and witness first-hand development efforts and working conditions. Their appeal comes in the wake of the President's recent nationwide visits to assess parish development model project visits that did not include a stop at the park.
Nebaza nyo President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni kutusimbira business park ino. Tufunye nyo ku business park ngabatuze bawano. Tusobode kuwerera abana bafi, tusobode kufuna byakulya na byakunywa wano Tirupati business park. Tusaba busabi His Excellency our President ajya tuchadire arabe kitundu getuze kuro murimo go project ya teka wano.
Established in 2006 by Tirupati Development with government approval, Tirupati Industrial Park was designed as part of efforts to combat unemployment. Since its inception, the park has created employment opportunities for over 3,000 people across various sectors. The Secretary of the Local Governing Committee emphasized the importance of ensuring all park employees are properly registered and vetted to curb criminal activity.
Akakiiko ako akaliwo ak'abakozi lwaki twakola akakiiko ako olw'ensonga nti abantu bonna buli lw'oleeta abantu mu kampuni yo abalala tebabeera beesigwa kati buli muntu yenna ayingira wano asooka wa chairman LC1.
Over 600 young women are enrolled in the center receiving vocational training. However, they continue to face challenges in increasing their income and achieving long-term economic sustainability. Despite rumors that the park has not been well received, both operators and community members assert the contrary.
Ekitundu kino yali nsiko neba nga buli omu buli nkozi ya bibi byonna ejja nekola ki nebeera mu nsiko muno nebeeramu ne bakola bibakola emirambo ne basuulamu n'emirambo naye abantu bano we bajja business park bwe yajja ne balongoosa ekitundu abaana abaali bakola ebibi byonna bafuna ne bajja ne bafunamu n'emirimu.
Although the park is situated near drainage channels, Tirupati Development Limited, along with its partners, has made concerted efforts to protect the environment.
MTN Uganda, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, has convened a high-level government roundtable at Sheraton Kampala Hotel. The roundtable aimed at reinforcing MTN's role as a strategic partner in Uganda's digital transformation journey.
The one-day engagement brought together senior government officials, policymakers, ICT leaders, and the MTN Uganda executive team to explore practical strategies for accelerating the implementation of the National Digital Transformation Roadmap for 2023-2024 to 2027-2028.
We are not only talking about providing you with connectivity that connects you to the citizenry or to the different stakeholders that you have or your customers from connectivity perspective in terms of the mobile network. I'm sure when you're here, you hear about our 5G services and products that we have developed. So we have a whole vertical that focuses on driving connectivity.
The session aimed to develop a joint work plan with government stakeholders, including minimum viable projects and actionable frameworks to advance digital service delivery across the country.
Both business, you saw what they put on the screen. Let's do business. So you are going to do business when you have jobs and have an income. So how can ICT facilitate that process of people having jobs and having an income? So we are doing this through a number of interventions. Innovation hubs are being supported. Now we have, and the partnership with MTN, they have supported us at the National ICT Hub in Nakawa.
MTN Uganda, which advises on public-private partnerships, presented its comprehensive portfolio of technology capabilities. These include cloud services, Internet of Things, managed networks, unified communications, and e-government solutions.
There's a lot of investment that has been made in terms of the use cases that we have developed for government. And if you look within the region, not only here in Uganda, but also within the wider East African region, there's a big opportunity that exists for us to be able to drive a very strong digital financial inclusion agenda by leveraging on the payment platforms that we have developed for yourselves.
The current National Development Plan focuses on increased investment in ICT to improve livelihoods, generate employment, and support the production of goods for export and import substitution. Uganda's ICT sector continues to show strong economic impact, recording an average growth rate of 14.8% and contributing 9% to the national GDP. Additionally, research from the International Telecommunications Union highlights that a 10% increase in broadband penetration can result in a 1.4% GDP growth, emphasizing the critical role of connectivity in national development.
And traditional fishermen have been urged to embrace research, technical advice, and modern agricultural practices as a pathway to successful, sustainable livelihoods. The initiative, driven by a desire to empower communities previously dependent on fishing, comes at a time when new government fishing regulations have restricted livelihoods, leaving many in urgent need of alternative income sources.
At the center of the initiative is Ngatazadi, one of the 16 national agricultural research institutes under NARO, tasked with conducting adaptive research in crops, livestock, fisheries, and agroforestry across Lango, Karamoja, and Acholi sub-regions.
So the people we have here, they're the lead farmers from Amolata, and the purpose of bringing them here is basically to let them come and see what best farming practices actually means.
The outreach is part of Dr. Agnes Atimapea's broader mission to empower fishing communities, many of whom have been struggling to adjust to strict new fishing regulations that have limited access to lakes and restricted traditional fishing methods.
Crop is very good actually, livestock is very good, but you are aware that the fisheries sector has lagged behind in terms of information. Some of these fishers have never seen that you can grow fish, and so that is a whole story that they are talking about here. So that is basically my effort in trying to give them an alternative to the traditional way of fishing, so that we go back to government and said, you know, these people have got information, can we put funding so that these fishers can start now fish farming to reduce the pressure of fishing in the lake.
Farmers, many of whom had never set foot in a research center before, the visit signaled a turning point, a chance to shift from traditional unreliable livelihoods to evidence-based farming that promises resilience and prosperity.
As we have nothing in our brain, we as farmers. So here we come to learn more about fishing, carrying animal, and digging.
We have seen how soya is being planted into lines, but those from our home there, for us, we were just showing it, not even bothering the issue of making it into line. So I am very happy.
Zadis equipped farmers with research-driven knowledge and practical skills to boost productivity, resilience, and income.
In Narong at Zadi here, we still see that we are still understaffing, and then we still lack other equipment in the laboratory because we have both the seed lab and the other lab for conducting other experiments, the soil lab. So we lack equipment in the lab to conduct research.
Despite the challenges, the institute remains a vital player in shaping Uganda's food security agenda, and it is set to host a major agricultural exhibition in partnership with the East African Grain Council from May 30th to 31st this year. Eddie Olua, UBC News.
And now we take a quick break.
Techno and MTN. Together, our flash snap is unstoppable. Grab the Techno Camon 40 series and get free 9 GB of MTN data valid for 3 months. Don't wait. Get your Techno Camon 40 today at Techno stores and MTN outlets. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Life in Uganda today comes with so many uncertainties.
Where will Madam get Kameza if I get an accident and can't work? If anything happens to me, what will Junior eat?
Yeah, Kale Musa is still in the hospital. Guy is missing a lot of money here.
With a monthly payment of only 3,000 shillings off your Equity personal account for Equi-Life insurance, you will be entitled to 50,000 shillings hospital cash per night spent in a registered facility, up to 20 nights every year. And your family will receive 3 million shillings in case of your death. Visit your nearest Equity agent to sign up today or call 0312 327 000 for assistance.
Every year on the 5th of June, Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate World Environment Day. This year, the national celebrations will be held in Kabale district at Kigezi High School Primary Playground under the theme United Against Plastic Pollution. This year's theme is a call to action for all to avoid single-use plastics, reduce, reuse and recycle plastics instead of disposing them off irresponsibly. Plastics are choking our rivers, harming wildlife and threatening our health. But together, we can change this trend. Within this challenge lies the power of collective action. In the days leading up to the 5th of June, communities across Uganda will be taking action through a number of pre-World Environment Day activities, including community cleanups to reclaim spaces taken up by plastic litter, restoration through tree planting, community dialogues, and engagements with learners in schools. Your participation in these activities is what will bring meaningful change for our environment. Join us on the 5th of June in Kabale for this year's World Environment Day celebrations. Together, let's stand united against plastic pollution. This message is brought to you by the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, ensuring sustainable development.
Africa is rising, a continent rich in potential, powered by a new generation of visionaries. From cutting-edge technologies to transformative industries, Africa is shaping its own future. Bold, sustainable, and value-driven. Inspire Africa Group welcomes you to the first Africa Business Forum, which will be held at Africa Coffee Park under the theme Innovation, Industrialization and Value Addition on the 23rd of May 2025. The chief guest will be His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Uganda, and His Excellency Dr. Samoei William Ruto, President of Kenya. Come, engage with the key policymakers, forge strategic partnerships, and unlock new markets. Join us as we reshape Africa's economic future. Brought to you by
And now in business news, the Uganda Revenue Authority has reiterated its commitment to working with the Chinese business community to enhance tax base in Uganda. The Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi said that since China is the biggest investor in Uganda, it is important to enhance collaboration with them in promoting economic growth. The Ambassador of China to Uganda, His Excellency Zhang Lizong, advised Chinese investors to abide by environmental laws. This was during the launch of the second edition of the Taxation Handbook, translated into the Chinese language, at an event held in Bugolobi.
In a move to improve tax compliance, the Uganda Revenue Authority is translating Taxation Handbook into local languages. The Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, says this will help increase the amount of tax collected, as people will better understand how they are taxed and the benefits involved.
Things like rental tax, for example, things like presumptive tax, because these are the taxes that affect the ordinary people who may not necessarily know English. We have already translated them into Luganda, and we are moving on to translate them into many other languages of the country. So it is work already happening to translate all tax laws into the local languages and the international languages to support our taxpayers.
The Commissioner General disclosed this at the launch of the newly translated version of the handbook into the Chinese language, aimed at enabling Chinese national investors to understand the taxation process, as China remains the biggest investor in Uganda.
To our esteemed Chinese business community, I want to commend you for your commitment in building our nation, for fulfilling your tax obligations, and for contributing to the socio-economic transformation of our country. Your investments that span from manufacturing to infrastructure development, to mineral development, have not only created jobs, but have advanced technology and propelled our economy forward.
The Chinese ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Ziyong, commended the government of Uganda for creating an environment that enables Chinese businesses to invest here.
My thanks also go to the Uganda government for providing enabling business environment for all investors, not only Chinese, so that they can grow business stronger and stronger and contributing more to the local community in Uganda.
He encouraged investors to follow environmental protection laws to avoid damaging the climate while operating in Uganda.
Safeguarded the legitimate rights and interests of the Chinese businesses and citizens overseas. The tax environment is a key indicator of a country's overall business climate. We're pleased to see that Uganda government has introduced tax incentives to attract foreign investment to Uganda.
The Taxation Handbook, translated into the Chinese language, aims to enhance collaboration between Uganda and China in the taxation process. Lydia Chomkama and Andrew Sebida, UBC News.
And in a bid to create 1 million women-led agri-businesses that will create jobs, food security and national prosperity, Kampala Capital City Authority, with key stakeholders, has officially launched the Women in Agribusiness Week 2025 under the theme Women Designing the Future of Climate and Smart Agriculture. According to stakeholders in the agricultural sector, more women need to get involved in commercial agriculture rather than just subsistence.
This initiative aims to spotlight the transformative power of women in agriculture, promote inclusive agribusiness development, and provide a platform for skills development, investment, innovation, and networking.
Estimated that close to 77% of the population are actually engaged in agriculture. And of these, close to 73% are actually women. So the government of Uganda has supported women in some communities with tractors, some hand-working tractors, but also we have seen irrigation schemes being established in some selected districts. And of course, all this is intended to provide water for production. But we are also aware that through the African Development Bank and other grants, the government has supported women in agriculture.
Of course, we're also looking at allies. So I'm happy that even at the launch, we saw men there. We're inviting everybody. We're inviting men, we're inviting women, we're inviting children, we're inviting students, and all over Africa, and of course in the diaspora.
Agriculture contributes almost 24% to the GDP of Uganda, and therefore women should embrace more sustainable or commercial agriculture and not just subsistence farming.
So I really want to encourage the women of Uganda to actually engage in agriculture, but also most importantly, utilize the government programs like the Certificate of Customary Ownership, which is a program aimed at enabling those who cannot be able to survey their land to acquire what is like a title. It's actually a certificate of customary ownership, which you can actually use as collateral to actually get credit and engage in agriculture.
Florence Nasanga, president of Interfaith Women at the Interreligious Council of Uganda, hopes that voices of rural women farmers will be heard.
In agriculture, we are looking at all women doing agribusiness, doing different businesses at all stages and the whole country. In November, we are going to host all countries, especially in Africa, on the Muzakuza. This is an organization in Ghana which is dealing with women in agribusiness, and it birthed women in business here in Uganda. So it's going to be the first time we are hosting this in Uganda.
The Women in Agribusiness Week is set for November 2025, with women being called upon to practice commercial agriculture for financial freedom. Marion Awori and Aisha Musanya for UBC.
And that does it for News Tonight for now. We do return at 10 o'clock with more details. Dorothy Namyomba on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi.